Canute, the great Marriott. Edgar, I'll tell of Canute, King of England. A native of Denmark was he. His hobbies was roving and raiding and paddling his feet in the sea. By trade he were what's called a Viking. Every summer he'd visit our shore, help himself to whatever he wanted, and come back in the autumn for more. These trips always showed him a profit, but what stumped him to know was this ere. Where the English folk got all the money, he came and took off them each year. After duly considering the matter, he concluded as how his best course were to have an invasion of England, and tap the supply at its source. He got other Vikings to join him, with the promise of plunder and spoil, and raked up atrocity stories, to bring all their blood to the boil. They landed one morning at Weymouth, and waited for fight to begin, while their foe, Ethelred the Unready, found his army and got it fell in. When the battle were done, Crown of England changed heads, so the history book states, from Ethelred's 7 1/4, to King Canute's 6 5/8. The Vikings was cheered as the winners. Ethelred, he went somewhere and died, and Canute, to his lasting atonement, made the widow, Queen Emma, his bride. She started to teach him his manners, to drink without wetting his nose, put his hand to his mouth and say and quo. Pardon. Ampersand quo. Every time the occasion arose. She said his companions was vulgar, his habits more easy than free, made him promise no more to disgrace her, by paddling his feet in the sea. At the time this ere promise meant nothing, it were made in the cool of the spring, but when summer came in with a heat wave, two were a totally different thing. He moved his corps down to the seaside, where they took off their shoes and their socks, and rushed to the water and left him, alone on his throne on the rocks. Said one, Ampersand quo. Come on, king, have a paddle, I'll look after your scepter and crown. Ampersand quo. He replied, Ampersand quo. Nay, I promised the missus, and I can't let the old lady down. Ampersand quo. Ampersand quo. No need to do that, Ampersand quo. Said the tempter, Ampersand quo. The tide's coming in, as you see. You promised you wouldn't go to it, but you can't stop it coming to thee. Ampersand quo. And that's how it happened. That later, when Emma came over the sands, she found Canute knee-deep in water, trying to shush the sea back with his hands. For not letting on that he'd seen her, he was chiding each wave as it came, saying, Ampersand quo. Thus far, my lad, and no further. Ampersand quo. Till Emma said, Ampersand quo. What is this game? Ampersand quo. He replied, these ere flatterers told me, that the sea would obey me, and so, I'm giving them this demonstration, to show what a fat lot they know. Ampersand quo. Ampersand quo. You're doing quite right, Ampersand quo. Shouted Emma, Ampersand quo. It's time someone made him look small. Ampersand quo. Then she took off her shoes and her stockings, and started to paddle and all.